Good afternoon, guys. It's Tuesday and I am back again in the gym. So just a very quick one. I'm caught for time, but I have made this a priority in my week, so it is happening. One of the questions we got from 2 or 3 guys in the last couple of weeks who've been in here and making amazing progress is, my arms are getting smaller. Why are my arms getting smaller? And to put it not too subtly, a point is there was an amount of fat on their arms before they started. They are losing weight, they are losing centimetres, inches off their tummy, they are toning up, they are looking way better in their clothes, wearing t-shirts they have never worn before, well, not never worn before, but not worn for years. And they're starting to feel that their arms are getting a bit smaller. And yes, to a degree they are, because your arms weren't solid muscle before you came in here. I'm sorry to tell you. There was a layer of fat over them. It's the same as I like to say, look at World's Strongest Man. None of those guys are weak, and none of those guys are lacking in muscle. They are the world's strongest men. However, none of them look like the bodybuilder. And there's a reason for that. The fat does give them a performance advantage sometimes. It's very hard to function at a very high level with a very low body fat percentage, but that's another thing. But no one will say those guys have small arms. They have gigantic arms, and they have a bit of fat on top of them. There's nothing wrong with that. If you put a bodybuilder's arms beside them, probably not going to be as big. However, the proportions, the aesthetics are completely different. And the other great thing you'll start to notice is when you start losing weight, you're losing all this weight down along your midsection, but your shoulders are usually staying quite broad. Your frame doesn't, shoulders usually don't get narrower. They'll get a bit bigger with the muscle. Your arms are obviously getting a bit smaller, but you're getting more definition. All of these things make the appearance far better, far more toned. Like most athletes, if you look at low weight boxers, they're ripped to shreds, but they're obviously not gigantic, because the eye wants to see proportion, and that's what makes you look slim, and that's what makes you look athletic. That's also a great thing, that when you have a very slim midsection, when you are very toned everywhere else, and your arms are a bit bigger than anyone else, they look double. So it's all on the right track. A lot of guys are a bit concerned, am I losing too much weight? Well, if you're getting up in the morning and you can see the ripple of the top 2 of your six-pack, you're probably in a good place. If you're outside of that, you could probably lose more weight. And that's maybe a bit harsh. We always need to lose more weight than we really think to actually get down there. When you start talking to guys who are doing physique competitions, you'd be shocked how light they are on game day. That's another thing. But as I said, if you're concerned about your arms, I would say if you're losing weight, if you're pushing the same amount of weight in the gym, if you're curling the same amount of weights, I would not be concerned about losing some centimetres off my arms, because it's almost guaranteed they are getting stronger, better toned, and better shape and better definition, which is something very, very common that we see in here. And guess what? Usually those arm measurements start coming up again. But there is obviously a little dip where it comes back up again. But just have a look in the mirror, take some photos, and see what your arms look like before you started, and see what your arms look like now, with a bit of a flex, because obviously it doesn't really make much of a difference if they're just sitting by your side, and you'll have a real comparison point. The problem is, it's not a pose most people do before the start, but that's fine. So that's kind of the thing I would say about the arms, guys. I would really say, don't worry about it, it's coming. That's the golden rule. You get whatever you want, it just takes patience and consistency. That's what I had to say today about the arms. So if anyone has any other questions, I know it was only a quick one today, but it was a question we got a few times, so that's why I wanted to cover it. Send them on through, send a message to the site, put a message on the video, and really thanks to everyone for watching. I better shoot. Take care, guys.